Hi, welcome. My name is Tara and I'll be your guide today. Today we're going to practice sequence 1 together. So roll out your mat, gather any props you might like. Maybe light a candle and just make yourself comfortable. Then we're going to meet in a standing posture in Tadasana, mountain pose. Having the feet hip distance apart, we could lift up the toes for a moment, root down through the heels, the point under the pinky toe and the big toe, and release the feet back down. Have a micro bend in the knees, and the pelvis is neutral. You can roll the shoulders up to the ears and relax them back down. Either allowing the hands staying on the sides or opening the palms to the front of the room to bring some attention to the area of the heart. Reaching up through the crown of the head, slightly tucking the chin. Feeling like you're rooted down through the feet, while at the same time growing tall through the crown of the spine. Become aware of the breath. Natural flow of inhale and exhale. Maybe you want to close the eyes, or maybe you want to have a soft gaze in front. And let's take a few breaths together where we inhale in through the nostrils, exhaling out of the mouth, inhaling nostrils, exhaling out of the mouth. With the next one, let's inhale in through the nostrils, exhale out of the mouth, and maybe letting out a sigh. And one more like this, releasing on an exhale. And return to your natural breath. Let's just take a moment to check in with our experience in this moment. Are there any thoughts present, any story playing out in the mind? Simply checking in. No need to change, to resist, or to change our experience. Checking in with the emotions, the emotion present. And if yes, where can you find it in the body? And then also outside of the emotional body, how does the body feel today? Areas that have tension or discomfort, areas that feel good. Sensations that are very loud, which are at the back, at the forefront of your experience. And sensations maybe that are a little more subtle, more at the background. And just taking this moment to become intimate with our direct experience for what it is now. Stepping back into a space of silent witnessing. The next inhale, let's bring the hands to the heart in Prayer Mudra, palms touching, thumbs at the chest. Or simply let's rest a hand over the heart, whatever feels more natural to you. Together we'll take this moment to set an intention for our practice, allowing it to spring forth from the heart. Maybe it's something very simple, like I'm gonna stay present, I am at ease, I am relaxed. And maybe it's more an intention that you came up with at the beginning of this course. I am peace. I am the silent witness. And just formulating this as a statement in the present tense, feeling as if it's already true. The next inhale, we're going to press the prayer up into the sky, opening the palms to the ceiling, turning the pinkies in, shining the heart forward, releasing the prayer, releasing the intention, trusting that it'll unravel as it's supposed to. One breath. The next inhale, we bring the hands back together overhead. Exhale, pulling it back down into the heart and feeling the echo here. I want to encourage you throughout this practice, even though we're in a little more dynamic flow, to keep checking back in with yourself. Returning to a space of observation, resting in yourselves and watching whatever is arising. Knowing also that throughout this practice I'm just here as a guide, and you're very welcome to listen to your own body, your own needs. And feel free to go ahead and hold a pose longer, move into a resting position, or go ahead, be more dynamic. Just learn to feel what is needed for your body, for your heart in this very moment. So let's drop the arms. We're going to move into our warm-up. Shifting the weight into the left foot, lifting up the right. We can draw circles with the ankle, or just massaging the foot on the ground, warming up the ankle joint. Staying with your breath. If you like, you can also include the left wrist, drawing circles here. Left hand and right ankle. Gently dropping and shifting over to the opposite side. Lifting up the left, drawing circles, massaging the foot on the ground. When you feel ready, including the right wrist, drawing circles here. Also warming up the wrist, bringing aliveness into the hand and into the foot. And that will do, dropping it back down. Gently bending the knees and coming down. Just placing the hands gently just above the knees and starting to draw circles here. Warming up the knee joints. Making sure to not put too much pressure onto the knees. The hands are just resting here. Moving into the opposite direction. Gently rising back up. Hands come to the hips. Inhaling, we press the hips forward. Exhaling to the right. Inhale back. Exhaling left. And you can continue pressing your hips into those 4 points, or you can also start connecting them, coming into a bigger circle. Know that at any point you can take also a wider stance if this is more comfortable. Keeping a micro bend in the knees. Focusing on all the sensations in the hips. You can also hold when you find tension somewhere and breathe into it. Also changing directions. Deep belly breaths. Gently coming back to neutral. Taking a moment to drop the hands and just perceive the lower body. Sensations in the hips, the legs. Gently bringing the feet together again, back into Tadasana. You can place the left hand over navel. Inhale, bringing the right arm up overhead, turning the pinkies in. Inhaling, we find length through the spine. Exhaling, leaning over to the left. Breathing now to the right side of the body. Engaging the core. Warming up the abs, the muscles in the belly and in the back. You can look down or even up into the hand, just seeing what feels better. Inhaling, rise. Exhaling, we drop. Right hand over navel. Inhaling, the left arm overhead. Taking a moment for the next inhalation to find length again through the spine. And exhaling, leaning over. Breathing into the left side body. Looking down or up. Inhaling, rise. Exhaling, we drop. Let's bring the hand up to the shoulders and draw some circles here. So warming up the shoulders. Deep breaths. You're also always welcome to breathe in through the nostrils and release, exhale out of the mouth. This can be really sweet and helpful to release tension. Sighs are also always welcome. Very good. Dropping the shoulders and the hands. Let's do one more warm up for the neck. We inhale and length through the spine. Exhale, dropping down the head to the chest. Inhale, rolling the right ear to the right shoulder. Exhaling back down to the chest. Inhaling left ear to left shoulder. Exhaling back to the chest. Inhaling opposite side. Exhaling back to center. Moving at the pace of your own breath and warming up the neck. Tuning into all the micro sensations. And you can also come into full circles here with the head. Just making sure as we come backward, we're lengthening through the spine, not allowing the neck to collapse, just gently tilting it back. You can also stay with the half circles if you prefer. Going into both directions if we come into full circles. It can be nice here to have a soft gaze in front or even closing the eyes. Gently return to neutral. Just let's take a moment here to perceive. How's the body feeling as we warmed up some joints, some parts of the body? What has changed? What has remained? Let's take one breath in through the nostrils. Exhale out of the mouth. Very good. Let's take a wider stance. Coming into a first asana, we turn the right foot out to the side. You could draw a line from the right heel to the center of the left foot. The hips are both facing forward. Inhaling the arms to the side, so you can check if they're an equal height. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, pulling over to the right. Inhaling again. And exhaling, coming down into triangle pose, Trikonasana. The hand can come down to the shin, the calf muscle, and the left hand comes up overhead. To check your alignment, you can also bring your hand down, touch your elbow, align shoulder to elbow, and then extend the arm up from here. You can gaze up to the ceiling, down to your foot, or even in front. Engaging the core here. Breathing into the navel. Bring some fire into the system. One more breath. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, back to neutral. Turning the right foot to the front, left foot out to the side. Let's check our alignment again from heel to center of the foot. Alignment of arms. Inhaling and exhaling, pulling over to the left. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, coming down. Left hand come down to the shin, the thigh. Right hand up overhead. Checking your alignment here. Deep breaths into the navel. Awakening the body. One more breath. And inhale, we rise. Exhaling to neutral. Turning the left foot in and dropping the arms. You can bring the legs in together for a little. Just take one breath here, perceiving sensations in the body. And then let's turn towards the long side of the mat. Inhale, we're going to bring the left foot forward and stepping the right back. You can bring your hands either to the hips or behind the back. You can choose to hold onto the wrists, elbows, or even come into reverse prayer with the hands touching. Alternatively, you can also have them on the hips. The feet are pushing into the floor. Energetically, it feels like the left foot is pushing front and the right foot is pushing back. Inhaling, we find length in the spine. Exhaling, engaging the core, slightly tucking the chin and coming down with a flat back. Moving into our intense side stretch. When you find your first point of resistance, take another deep breath here. Check with the alignment of your neck. We have the tendency to come up, look up, but we want to really tuck the chin here, looking down towards the foot, towards the leg. Let's take a few breaths here, finding that stretch in the legs. And then we gently drop the hands. You can place the hands onto the ground or even come onto little fists. Alternatively, you could hold on to your blocks here, placing one block under each hand. And then allowing the head to release all the way down to the ground. Taking a few breaths here. And we'll move through a transition, moving the blocks to the sides if you use them. Coming onto the toes, bending deeply in the knees, and we twist over to the left side. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. The left leg is on top of the right. This is called Gomukh Asana, cow face pose. So you can also choose, if this is uncomfortable, you can extend out the bottom leg and hug in the left leg towards you. Alternatively, both legs are bent. If you like, you can also move the fleshy parts of your glutes to the sides. And then just allowing the hands to rest on the knees, the feet, the ground. Just feeling the ground underneath you, aligning the spine, growing tall, straight back. Let's take a few deep belly breaths in this posture. Finding groundedness, connecting to the earth element. Here we're to be connecting with Muladhara chakra. Finding a sense of groundedness, vitality. Taking one more deep breath. And we're going to face the left foot, bringing the hands down to the ground, pressing into the hands and shifting back, twisting back into your intense side stretch. Grounding down through the feet. And when you're grounded and balanced, bring the hands back up wherever you had them placed before. Tucking the chin, engaging the core, and rising up. Stepping to the front of the room, front of the mat. And then bringing the opposite leg back. For me, this is the left foot. And the same, we move into the opposite side to find balance. Inhale, we find length. Exhale, coming forward. Tucking the chin, engaging the core. Let's hold here for a few breaths. Moving with your breath. When you find resistance, deepening the breath. Telling your body it's okay. Then we can release the hands down, either onto the ground Or if you used blocks on the opposite side, you're very welcome to use them again under the hands, releasing the neck fully. Even shake the head yes and no. One more breath. And then placing the hands on the ground if they're not there yet, coming up onto the toes, bending deeply in the knees, and twisting over to the right. Again, either the right leg is over top and the left underneath, bent, or alternatively you can extend out the bottom leg, hugging in the right. Choosing whatever variation works for you. Again, moving the fleshy parts of the glutes, and then allowing the hands to rest on the knee, the ground. Lining through the spine. And finding your breath. Taking this moment to go inward. Feeling the points of contact with the earth. Every exhale we can sense as if we give a little more weight into the earth. Cultivating stability. And one more breath. Gazing over to the right foot, bringing the hands into the ground, and then twisting back into your intense side stretch. Rooting down through the feet, and then lifting up the arms. Engaging the core, tucking in the chin, and rising up. Stepping to the front of the mat and releasing the arms. Coming into your Tadasana mountain pose. Just taking a moment to perceive. I'm going to inhale, bring the hands to heart center. Breathing. You can gently press the hands, the thumbs into the heart. Realigning with our intention here. Together we inhale, raise the hands up overhead. Exhaling, swan dive forward to the ground. Inhaling, half lift with a flat back. Exhaling back down. Shaking the head, yes and no, releasing the head down. We'll take a few breaths in this forward fold. Releasing the neck, rooting down through the feet. Your hands can come onto the ground, onto blocks. Alternatively, you can also hold on to your elbows. If you place the hand on the ground or on blocks, we'll come more into a groundedness. If you feel like this is what we need today, go ahead. If you hold onto the elbows, we'll move into sublimation. In sublimation, we bring the energies of the lower chakras into the higher ones. which supports us in lifting heavier moods, maybe anger, frustration, irritability, sadness. Can be lifted up into the higher ones. If you feel like there are emotions today which you can't hold, or it's just not the time to be with them in this moment, you can also go ahead to that. Taking a few breaths. One more breath. And then pressing the hands into the ground, stepping back into plank. Pushing out through the heels and being strong here. We'll hold here for a moment, so make sure to spread the fingers wide, rooting down through the base of the index finger. Micro bend in the elbows. Gently we'll shift the weight into the left hand, coming into side plank, opening up to the right. Right hand up overhead. You can touch your shoulders, bringing shoulder to elbow in alignment, and extend the arm back up. One more breath. Alternatively, you can also bring the left knee down to the ground. And then back down. Back into plank. Here as well, feel free to drop the knees to the ground. Or come onto wrists if you're, come onto little fists with your hand if your wrists are sore. And then shifting the weight into the right hand, bringing the left up overhead. Checking the alignment of your arm again. Maybe bringing the right knee to the ground. And coming back down into plank. Let's take another 2 breaths here, being strong, sparking the fire in the body, a burning of stress. And then drop the knees, chest and chin to the ground. Take a moment of rest here, take a deep breath in belly shavasana. Perceiving sensations in the body. Then we curl the toes under, bring the hands to the rib cage, press into the hands and toes, and come into downward dog. Let's just pedal the feet here for a moment. You can bend deeply in the knees, spreading the fingers wide and pushing down through the base of the index fingers. You can also gently claw into the mat with your fingertips, micro bend in the arms. The next breath, gazing in front and hopping or stepping forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling back down. Inhaling reverse, swan dive, hands overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Taking a deep breath, perceiving the heartbeat in your chest, the aliveness of this moment, the heart pumping blood through the body, all the little movements that are still going on, even though apparently we're standing still. One more breath. Inhaling, we rise. Exhaling, swan dive forward. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling down to the ground, stepping or hopping into plank. Knees, chest and chin to the ground. Inhaling into mini cobra. Lifting the chest off the ground, the hands can be on your sides or hover just a little bit above the ground. Also, you can bring your hands back, interlacing the fingers and pulling back, squeezing gently the shoulder blades together. Whatever you choose, make sure to breathe into the belly, warming up the back. Next inhale, we gently lengthen and come down. Bringing the hands now in front, coming onto the forearms, transitioning into Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath shoulders, spreading the fingers wide, gently pressing into the palms. Shoulders are away from ears. And gently looking up in front. Slight opening in the chest. If you like, you can breathe into the area of the heart. Feeling on an inhale an expansion in the chest. And exhale a deepening into the center of the chest. And you can stay here or alternatively press into the hands, coming into a cobra. Continuing to breathe wherever you are into the heart, into Anahata Chakra, element of air. Cultivating compassion and kindness. Reflecting and contemplating on the radiance of the heart. Let's take 2 more breaths. Inhaling, we rise, and with the extended spine coming down. Taking a moment here to rest, allowing the spine to come to neutral. One more deep breath. From here we'll transition into our Downward Asana. So for that we're gonna bend the knees and reach behind towards the ankles. Also, if you like, you can use a strap here or a scarf, just whatever you have. Bringing that around your feet to hold on to the strap. We'll do a little warm-up. So first, allowing the feet, the legs to stay on the ground, the thighs press against the earth. Inhaling, we rise, just lifting the chest off the ground. Just taking 2 breaths here, just with the chest of the ground. And then gently bringing that back down. And then pressing the chest and the forehead into the earth, while at the same time we just lift up the thighs of the ground. And taking 2 breaths here. Back down. If you feel like this is too much pressure on your hip bones, you can also come onto your blanket. As with the next inhale, we're going to lift up the chest, the head, and the thighs at the same time, coming into Dhanurasana. Inhaling, rising, chest of the ground, thighs of the ground. And energetically, those legs pull towards each other. We might have the tendency for them to float out to the sides, but we can imagine squeezing a block in between the thighs. You can also actually place a block here, if that's helpful for you. Know that you can always come out of the pose if it gets too much. And if you like, you can also start breathing more deeply and come into a rocking movement, rocking back and forth. And just seeing where you are today. Strong activation of Manipura chakra, a cleansing of the nadis, the energy channels in the body. And one more breath. And exhaling, we drop, dropping the thighs, releasing the legs. And we're bringing the hands at front, just resting the head. Finding rest here, allowing the spine to return to neutral. And taking 2 breaths to rest, release. Gently with the next inhale, bringing the hands to the rib cage, curling the toes under, pressing into downward dog. Again, you could pedal your legs here. Maybe you have some tension, bending deeply in the knees. Next inhale, we're going to lift up the right foot, keeping the hips square on the same height and drawing circles with the right foot. Inhaling, we're stepping the right foot to the front, in between the hands, lowering the left knee to the ground, into low lunge. If we have sensitive knees, we can also place something underneath our back leg, our back knee, which is touching the ground. We can release the back foot or stay on the toes, seeing what feels better. Sinking down into the hips, gazing in front, shoulders away from the ears. And then transition into our seated run, bringing the left hand to the ground. The right hand reaches up. We find a twist coming onto facing the back side. The right hand can rest on the lower back, and the right knee can just gently drop out to the side. And we can stay here if we like, or alternatively bend the back foot. You can also feel free to use a strap here, moving it around your foot. Might want to come out of the pose a little bit. Like that, you can hold on to your foot. And another option is just reach back, hold on to the ankle. Find this opening in the chest. It's actually more important that we find this twist in the area of the chest, the heart, rather than reaching for the back foot. So far, however this feels good in your body, taking a few breaths. You can also come down onto your forearm. For some people this feels better. And inhaling, we unwind, framing the front foot. From here we're going to shift the weight back, bend the back leg and extend the front. Pulling in the toes towards you. You can have your hands on the ground, or you can also hold onto blocks here, placing them beside you. You can choose to have a straight back here, or you can also choose to surrender down to your front leg. Coming into Hanuman Asana, monkey pose. Pose of surrender, of humility. And if you're looking for a deeper stretch here, make sure to not just sit back on the back leg, but rather move the feet, the legs out a little more further away from each other, coming rather into a splits than just resting back. So wherever you are, taking deep belly breaths. And inhaling, shifting the weight forward, framing the front foot. Pressing into the hands, curling the toes under, downward dog. Pedaling out the legs. You're going to inhale, bring the left leg up, drawing circles with the foot. Exhale, stepping it to the front. Right knee comes down to the ground. Back into a low lunge. Making sure that the ankle is underneath the knee. Also here you can use blocks. Gently gazing in front, shoulders away from the ears, sinking down into the hips. And giving the weight into the right hand, twisting around, left hand on the lower back, using your strap here to hold onto the left foot, or reaching for the right foot ankle. Opening, twisting in the shoulders. Alternatively, coming onto the forearm. One more breath. And releasing the back foot. Framing the front foot, shifting the weight back. Bending the back leg, extending the front. Pulling the toes towards you. Again, one option to have blocks, otherwise coming onto your fists. Or the hands, the palms on the ground. Releasing your neck and surrendering the upper body. Keeping a straight back. Taking rest here in Hanuman Asana. One more breath. And gently coming forward, framing the front leg, curling the toes under, downward dog. And taking one deep breath. And then you can gently walk the feet to the center of the mat and slightly out to the sides, coming into our garland pose. Gently moving the feet out and bringing the hands, the palms together in front of the heart. You can choose to have your arms in between your legs, or your upper arms can also rest on top of the knees, or even come around the knees. Whatever is accessible to you. Hands can be in front of the heart, or if you want to focus more onto the heart, you can also press the thumbs into the chest. You're rooting down with your tailbone to the ground, but at the same time the legs pull outside away from each other. The glutes are engaged in the thighs. Connecting to the earth, Muladhara chakra, and at the same time to Anahata, the heart. Taking a few deep breaths. You can also sit on a block here, if this feels better. Two more breaths. Allowing yourself to fall back onto your glutes, bringing the feet to the inside of the feet together and allowing the knees to fall out to the sides. Coming into Bhadrasana, butterfly pose. You can pull the toe outside, away from each other, engaging the toes to protect the knees. We can take a moment to flap those wings, bring movement into the legs, aligning the spine. Deep breaths. And then finding a point of stillness, resting the hands on the feet, the ground, the thighs. Gently engaging the toes by pulling them away from each other. Rooting down into the ground. Connecting with Muladhara chakra, the earth element. Deep belly breaths. One more breath. Gently bringing the knees together and coming down onto your back. You can place your hands underneath your glutes and extending the legs out into the sky. I'm going to inhale deeply, and on an exhale, lower the legs down to the ground, leaving a little bit of space in between the feet, down to around 45-degree angle, and just holding here, engaging the core, being strong. When you feel your lower back is lifting off the ground, maybe you want to ease out of the pose a little bit. Engaging the core. Nabhyasana. Engagement of Manipura chakra, navel chakra. Qualities of willpower, confidence, and courage. And gently we're going to lower the leg even further down to the ground if this is accessible. And hold for another moment. And exhale, drop, release. Inhaling, pulling the knees into the chest. Exhaling to the ceiling. Inhaling again. Exhaling, lowering down to 45-degree angle and holding. You also alternatively can release the hands and reach towards the legs. Another alternative is to lift up the neck and gaze towards your feet. Just going as far as feels good. 2 more breaths, being strong here. And exhale, either bending the knees in towards you or lowering them down. Strong engagement of the core and release. Taking a moment here, releasing the hands underneath the glutes, arms on the sides. Taking a moment of rest. And once more, we're going to bring the hands down to the glutes. I'm going to press our weight into the forearms, into the elbows, and lift the chest off the ground. You can also use a block here to find this opening in the chest in between your shoulder blades. Just place a bolster and come down. Just release your body over that. Alternatively, just resting while you press the chest into the air. Here we want to come onto the back of the head to keep the energy in Anahata chakra, the heart, maybe even slightly tucking the chin. Another variation would become to all the way onto the top of the head, where we would move the energy more into Vishuddha chakra, the throat chakra. So here, placing your weight onto the back side of the head, into Matsi Asana, fish pose. Just taking a few breaths here into the heart. The toes are pointing away from the head. Not too rigid. There's a little bit of space in between the feet. And one more breath. Exhaling, dropping down to the ground. We're gonna hug in the knees for a moment. And just roll the back from side to side. I'm going to actually roll once more up, back into seated. Coming on to the front. Pressing the hands into the crown, pressing into the feet, back into forward fold. Inhaling, reverse swan dive, hands overhead. Exhaling, hands back down. We move through a little balancing sequence here. Shifting the weight into the left foot. Finding a drishti, which is a still point in front to gaze upon. And then bringing the right foot up, either having the toes on the ground, just onto the ankle, bringing it into the calf muscles or into the thigh. Bringing the hands to the heart. The right hip is pressing forward while the right knee is pushing back. And the next inhale, we can rise the hands up overhead, finding balance here. Moving the energy into Ajna Chakra. Bringing concentration, focus. One more breath. Exhaling, pulling the hands down and releasing the foot. Releasing the arms. Bending the right leg and bringing the right foot into the right hand. Inhaling, left arm in front, thumb and index finger are touching. We press the foot into the right hand so the body naturally shifts forward. Finding a drishti or still point to gaze upon. Deep breath. Next inhale, we rise. Exhale, we drop. Maybe shaking out the legs if you like. And then shifting over to the opposite side. Into the right foot, bringing the left foot either to the ankle, calf muscle or thigh. Hands in front of the heart. Taking a deep breath here. Inhaling, we rise, hands overhead, into tree pose. Vrikasana. Finding your still point. Activation of Ajna Chakra, the center of the forehead. Inhaling, hands together. Exhaling, pulling it back down, keeping your balance. And then dropping the left foot, dropping the hands. Finding your Tadasana again. And then bending the left knee. Bringing the left foot into the left hand. Moving into our dancing Shiva pose, Nataraj Asana. Right hand in front, thumb and index are touching. Inhale, we find length. Exhale, we press with the foot into the left hand. Naturally, the body will shift forward. Finding our balance, finding our still point. Knowing that it's fine if we wobble, if we fall. Simply coming back into it. Knowing that one side might be more challenging than the other. And that balance in general might be really easy on one day and really hard on the next. Trying to not be hard on us, being gentle. One more breath. Inhaling, we rise. Exhaling, we drop. Taking a moment to just perceive this activation of the Ajna chakra. Gently stepping to the top of the mat, bending deeply in the knees, coming down to the ground, guiding yourself back into laying on the back for our final sublimation poses. We already started bringing the energy up into Ajna, and we'll continue moving into sublimation from here. Inhaling, bringing your feet overhead. If you want to have a more gentle sublimation pose, you can simply place some bolsters or pillows underneath the hips and rest the feet either just up above the head, just towards the ceiling, or even against a wall for some extra support. This is where you can stay. Or alternatively, you can move with me through this little sequence, bringing the hands onto the lower back and bringing the feet behind the head into plow pose, halasana. Making sure to keep the hands on the lower back and make sure not to look from side to side. If you want to look at the screen, make sure to come out of the pose and look then. Also your feet, if they can't touch the ground, you can place them on blocks, on bolsters. And only if our feet can touch the ground, we can also release the hands and interlace the fingers for some extra lift. Taking 2 breaths here to warm up the spine. And then bringing the hands back to the back. Inhaling, we lift the feet up into the sky, into shoulder stand. Maybe walking the hands down the back, leaving some space in between the feet. I'm bringing the energy now into Vishuddha chakra. You can gaze towards your belly button. Some space between the feet above. A deep belly breath. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. Fully filling the belly. And then gently bringing the legs behind the head again. Taking a few breaths here now into plow pose, into halasana. Holding longer and allowing the energy to flow up into Ajna, the center of the forehead. Concentration, focus. Two more deep breaths. And then gently, one vertebrae after the other, guiding your spine down to the ground, bending deeply in the knees. And then bringing the legs down to the ground, taking any final stretch you need. And finding your way into your Shavasana, leaving some space in between the legs, arms fall out to the sides, palms face up the ceiling. Leaving a little bit of space in between the arms and the body for any final toxins to release. To support your body, you can place a bolster or rolled up blanket under your knees. Also, you can place a pillow under your neck or head. Placing a blanket over top of you if you like. For a final relaxation. Inhaling deeply and exhaling release. One deep inhale through the nostrils. Exhaling out of the mouth. Giving your weight into the earth. Allowing the body to fall away while you stay awake and aware. Awareness of the toes, feet and ankles, sensing them as heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. Awareness of the calf muscles and shins, the knees, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. The thighs, glutes, hip bones and pelvis, heavy, relaxed, sinking into your mat. The belly, rib cage and chest, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. The lower back, upper back, space between the shoulder blades, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. Shoulders and shoulder blades, upper arms, elbows and forearms, relaxed, heavy, sinking into the ground. Inside of the palms, fingertips, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. The neck and throat, the jaw, cheeks and cheekbones, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the earth. The lips, inside of the mouth, the ears, nose, eyes and eyelids, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. Temples, forehead, the sides of the head, and the back of the head, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the earth. The top of the head is heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. The entire body is heavy, relaxed, sinks into the ground. The entire body is heavy, relaxed, sinking into the ground. Your entire being is heavy, relaxed, sinking into the earth. Take this moment here to rest in a sense of simple, undivided being. Resting as you are in this moment. No need to do, to become, just what is. Gently, you can allow the breath to deepen. Feeling the body against the earth. Clothes touching the skin. Gently we invite movement back into the fingertips and toes. Maybe the head rolled from side to side. Taking a moment to allow the body to come back into movement, following its intuition. Observing the tendency to move into a state of doing, and rather just follow the body's impulse. Rolling over to one side whenever you're ready. And taking another deep breath. Find in your own time, whenever you're ready, coming back up into seated. If you feel you need to rest longer in Shavasana, feel free to stay here and just continue with your practice. If you want to come up to seated in this moment, just bring the hands to the heart in prayer or just touching the heart. Consecrating the fruits of our practice. Giving gratitude to all teachers and guides, ancestors, family and friends who led us to the here and now. May the fruits of our practice be dedicated to the well-being and awakening of all beings everywhere. May we forever rest in the heart, recognizing as everything comes and goes, we remain. Giving gratitude to the heart for guidance, to Mother Earth, and just formulating your own prayer of gratitude here to close your practice. And may we continue to move throughout our day in a state of being, a state of observation, connecting back to the center of the chest. Thank you for practicing together today, and wishing you a wonderful night or day wherever you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you.